So, if you're watching this video, I'm just going to give you a very quick breakdown about how to see true, real results that are going to stay around and that you know are really working. And what I mean by this when I say true, real results is not the stuff you see driving around on the back of buses to try and draw us in to make us join a gym or this kind of stuff. I lost a stone and lose 10 pounds in 10 weeks and this kind of stuff. They're not results. They are things that people have achieved in a short space of time. So the thing I want you to realise is the first thing I'm going to teach you to do is get results like that. But we're going to do it so you can keep those results over a long period. To explain this quickly in this video, I'm going to talk to you about a bodybuilder versus a regular human being like me and you. So what I mean by that is a bodybuilder can get results like 10 pounds off in 10 weeks and maybe even more. But their lifestyle and their ability to lose and put on weight is very different to ours. Why is this? Well, it's because it's their job. Basically, a professional bodybuilder, literally all they do is eat, drink and sleep, exercise. So to start off with, when they wake up in the morning, they've got the right food in the fridge because that's all they've got to think about. They haven't got to think about kids. They haven't got to think about mortgage. They haven't got to think about all these things because that doesn't get into their brain. Even though they might have some of those things, their whole world is weight loss or stripping down for that show. So they're going to be able to maintain, well, you'd think they'd be able to maintain that, but actually they only do it for maybe 6 to 8 weeks of the year or 8 weeks of their season, because after a show, if a bodybuilder's lost 10 pounds, they're not then going to keep that 10 pounds off. They let it go back on in order for their body to heal up and get healthier and then strip it off again. So that's where the yo-yo dieting effect comes in. Now the thing I'll tell you with that is even the top bodybuilders don't do that anymore because the hormone response and the internal damage that you do when you do that is just not great. So think about that when you're looking at what real results are. Now, results for a regular human being like me and you, they should be a little more linear. Okay, I'm not talking about the typical thing that you might have read on Facebook or you might have heard at your local gym of you should lose no more than 3 pounds a week because it's not working, because that's not true either. The studies that I've read and the results I've seen with my experiences, everyone's different. Yeah, people can lose 3 pounds a week steadily and do really well on it. I totally agree with that. But I've also seen people lose more than that, and I've also seen people lose less in the first week and then more in the second week. The real true answer to that is it depends. It depends on the individual you've got in front of you, their own body composition, their own genetics, and their own metabolic rate. So that's not how you track your results either. The way for a real human being that has all the stresses and strains is you've got to look at the bigger picture. So number one, how are you feeling? If you're trying to lose weight, you are going to feel cravings and you are going to feel like you want to eat sometimes. But you shouldn't be miserable and about to strangle somebody if they offer you a cake. You know, when you're going to exercise, you shouldn't feel drained and drowsy and knackered and not really up for the exercise. You should feel fit and strong and ready to go to smash that gym session. You should be building yourself up versus trying to lose and strip yourself down, because you've got to do this forever. You know, I wouldn't give you a tablet that would make you lose a stone in a week but make you miserable for the rest of your life, because you just wouldn't do it. And if you did, well, you're not really thinking about this properly. The next set of things I wanted to look at is actually how you would track results from a record standpoint, whether it's getting on some scales, whether it's how you look good in the mirror, or whether it's just putting a tape measure around your tummy. You need to know what you're looking at. So the most important thing with all of this is, what is your goal? If your goal is a certain number, that's great. Pick that number and concentrate on weight, but also track all the other things so you can see the results on a consistent path. Because if you weigh yourself weekly, I've got some bad news for you. You're probably only ever going to see some results once every 2 or 3 months, because weekly your body doesn't change. It takes time for your body to release fat. So when you're getting on the scales, you're looking at your overall body weight. That's how much your hair, nails, skin, muscle, everything that's in your body, how much it weighs in total. So if you're looking to see that change, you've got to look at it a bit more in detail. How much food you're eating. Well, if you drop the food down that you're eating, you're going to feel rubbish, but you'll weigh less. Remember what I said about the pill earlier on? And water, this kind of stuff. If you drink less water, you're going to weigh less. Yeah, but guess what? You're going to feel like crap too. So what I'm trying to tell you is, just because you've lost some weight on the scales doesn't mean you're getting true, realistic results. That's one stage that you need to control, because I agree, you will get lighter on the scales, but you shouldn't be getting lighter because you're removing things. You should be getting lighter because your body's releasing body fat. And that brings us on to our next way of tracking real results. Are you getting slimmer in areas you want to? Now, there's lots of different things that you can do to make this happen. Toning up, exercising in the gym, removing foods out of your diet that don't agree with you, and just overall drinking more water, sleeping better, this kind of stuff. Hormones will help you release that fat. But then it does also come down to how much calories are going in and how much calories are going out as well. So you've got to monitor why your body's... you've got to work out why your body's in that position in the first place. The next stage after this is finally, just the last bit, is everything else, all the other factors that make up you as a person. And what I mean by that is, yeah, okay, you might be losing a couple of pounds a week. Well done, there's a start. Then the next stage is you might find yourself getting slim around your middle. You might have dropped a dress size, you might have dropped a waist size, this kind of stuff. But there's more. As I said, how you're feeling's one of them, but also the things in your life that make you just feel good. How is your relationship right now? If you're trying to lose weight, and because you're doing all these things and your other half's not agreeing with you, you're fighting and you're arguing, well, overall, I'd like to think that your partner's a little bit more important than not eating that bit of cake tonight. If your relationship's in a mess, guess what? That's going to bite you in the ass later on as well, because you're going to have problems that are going to cause more stress. So make sure that what you're doing is manageable. It's not too extreme that your partner's going to kill you because you insist on, doing a protein shake at 5 in the morning. You know, look at if it's going to be there for a longevity side of things. What's your mental state like right now? You know, are you stressed more than you've ever been, but you're seeing great results on the scales? That's just as bad as putting weight on. And then finally, are you managing your stress? So it's all well and good losing weight, it's all well and good having a really good relationship, but if you're stressed out of your brain, the rest of those will fall down. So those are the 3 foundations that are very, very key. Make sure your relationship's good. If you live by yourself, make sure your relationship with yourself is good. You like yourself enough. Are you learning to love your body? You're learning to feel good about the shape that you're in, because if that's the case, that will bite you in the ass later on as well, because you'll get upset and you'll eat some crap. Make sure that foundation's in place. Make sure mentally you are being mindful about you and what you're doing and how you're doing this, because if you're doing it haphazardly and half-assed, it will fall apart. You wouldn't expect a builder to come into your house and do stuff with duct tape, so you shouldn't do the same with your life. And stress management, a couple of simple tips. Have some quiet time where you can just sit, contemplate your thoughts. I recommend doing it in the car. Just turn the radio off and just let your mind wander. Are you moving enough? If you aren't moving enough, that's just as bad as being stressed out of your mind, because your body needs looking after. And then finally, are you sleeping enough? So these are the first 3 foundations that will get you real results and get you to keep them, because if those 3 things are in check, you will lose weight on the scales regularly, and in fact you'll see a general trend through your weeks. So over about 3 or 4 weeks, if you're losing weight gradually, 3 pounds, 3 pounds, 3 pounds, well, if you can keep those 3 foundations that I just told you, sleep, movement, and lifestyle, if you can keep those 3 things working, those 3 pounds will keep coming off and keep coming off and keep coming off. But if you don't, guess what? You'll lose it for a bit, and then you'll see it again, and I see it time and time again. So make sure you concentrate on those foundations and work out how to make habits to keep those habits. Ben, from Be Active, get some real results.